Hello, this is Erica Gray, one of the social and emotional learning coaches here in the district. This is my 16th year in education and my 13th in Wayne. I am proud to serve Bridgeport and Chapelwood Elementary Schools. This is my second year as a coach. Before becoming a teacher, I went to Indiana University in Bloomington, and I've been married to my husband Gregory for almost 17 years, and we have four children, Nicholas, Amara, Greg II, and Alexandria. All right. So today I am here to share with you the story of the Greensboro Four and the Woolworth's lunch counter sit-ins. Okay. So my generation and youth today know very little about the struggle African Americans had to endure to fight for the rights that we enjoy today. A lot may know about Ruby Bridges and efforts to integrate schools. A lot of people have heard about Rosa Parks and all of the boycotts and the efforts to make public transportation safe and equitable for everyone. But very few can tell you about the fight just to be able to eat in the restaurants that we choose. So, North Carolina A&T students David Richmond, Joseph McNeil, Franklin McCain, and Ezel Blair Jr. set their sights on Woolworths, which was a popular store in North Carolina. And they had a lunch counter, and it was a segregated lunch counter. So they only served whites, and these young men were ready for a change. So on February 1st, 1960, they decided to go there to Woolworth's lunch counter, and they just simply wanted to order a donut and a cup of coffee. And because they served whites only, they refused service. The waitress actually completely ignored them, and the owner called the police. When the police arrived, nothing was done because these men were being peaceful and they weren't breaking any rules. So the owner decided to close Woolworths for the day. And so unfazed, they went home, but they came back the next day with even more students. And over the next 3 days, so by February 5th, more than 300 students had shown up in support of them and to join them in the sit-ins. Okay. So they decided that they were going to take the nonviolent approach and remain peaceful. They weren't going to break any rules, but just sit. So they studied, they read books, they wrote in journals, and there were some white people that were angry about their efforts, so they showed up to the restaurant as well. And they did some extremely disrespectful things. They squirted ketchup on their heads, they spit on them, they poured hot coffee on them. So I've got a question for you. Do you think that you would have the strength, because it absolutely would take some strength and some bravery to tolerate that such behavior? Would you be able to remain peaceful and nonviolent if someone were spitting on you or pouring hot coffee on you? I'm not even sure how I can answer that question because I think that we are so ready to react. And these young men were able to just sit and deal with it and just continue to push forward with the cause. And with our SEL lessons, we learn so much about being passive, aggressive, and assertive. But I'm not sure if many of us would be able to remain passive like these young men did. They were being passive, but no matter what, they were still being assertive with what they were going after. Protest then carried over to other segregated places such as beaches and pools, hotels, libraries, all across lots of different southern college towns. White people who believed in the cause were allies and they joined forces. And eventually, business owners were forced to integrate because so many people were boycotting their places of business. And so to stay open, they had to integrate. So thanks to the perseverance, because they absolutely had to push forward and endure a lot, these young fighters helped integrate dining facilities all across the South. And by the end of the summer of 1960, even Woolworths had integrated. They did it quietly, but they integrated while most college students were out of town on summer vacation. So if you want to hear more about this story of these brave four young men, they're known as the Greensboro Four, teachers in elementary buildings especially, see your building's SEO coach because they have a copy of a book called Sit In, How Four Friends Stood Up by Sitting Down. And hopefully you do a little more digging into the story. It's pretty great and it's pretty inspiring too. Young people, lastly, do know that you have a voice and you absolutely can make a difference. Thanks for spending some time with me today and hope you learned a little bit. Have a good day.